Alright folks, welcome back to the channel. This is part 3 of a series that I put out here at the beginning of the year for Adirondack Preparedness, how I prepare for an event that may or may not happen, but most likely it may, living in these parts of the woods. So this is part 3. If you've missed part 1 and part 2 for the last couple of weeks, go back and watch that before you watch this video. This video is on power. What I do for power when there is no power. Follow along. Next up on the list, number 4, power. And this is going to be a two-part, so this is going to be 4A. Generating power. How can we do it? Well, if you live in an area where you can have a generator, these generators, there's a whole variety you can get out there. The generators I have here, my Honda and my Champion, both run off in gas. I put non-ethanol gas through them. If you are going to buy a generator for an emergency situation, you have to run that generator monthly. Start it up, make sure it's going to run. Don't put it in the corner of your garage and leave it there for 4 years and then have an event and pull it out and it won't start. It's your fault because it won't start. You need to run these, test them monthly, run them just like a standby generator on a house automatically starts up once a week. Just to run, just to power things, everything's good, and then it shuts off. These generators here, they come in all different sizes, and I don't mean small and large. I mean 1,000-watt generators up to 15, 16, 17,000 watt generators. If you just want something that's going to give you power enough to charge some items, maybe run an electric heater. And if you are in an area where you can run it without it getting stolen, get a security cable. If you're in an area where it could get stolen, and that's basically anywhere, make sure you get a security cable where you can secure it to a tree, secure it to in your garage, secure it someplace. These generators run off in gas. And I put non-ethanol gas. There's a big difference between non-ethanol gas and ethanol gas. Ethanol gas goes bad quickly. Within 6 months, it goes bad. It's not good for your small engines. Non-ethanol gas is better for your small engines because it's just about pure gas. Your non-ethanol has the ethanol in it that will ruin seals in your fuel system. Now in your vehicle, you run the gas through it quicker than it will do any damage. Over time, a couple 100,000 miles, yes, it'll do damage. In small engines in which the gas just sits there, that's where the damage occurs. And you want to run your non-ethanol gas in your small engines, and you won't have any problems. But you do need to run them monthly. A little generator like this at Tractor Supply is about $400. A Honda generator like this is about $2,000. But there are generators on the market that are quiet enough and good enough to run small items. If you want to run a heater, you're going to have a generator that's able to run the wattage of that heater. For example, if your heater's a 1,500 watt heater, you're going to want a generator that will run a 1,500 watt heater. This is a 2,000 watt generator, but the heater, if it's 1,500 watts, is going to be about the max of this generator. So you may want to get a generator that's more like 3,000 watts to run a heater. Plus, with these generators, you have to store gas. And when you store gas, you have to get into the conditioning of yourself to rotate that gas. much like your canned goods in your pantry, where the newest goes in the back and you pull the oldest out. For gas in these things, it's the same thing. You put your gas containers down, like I carry anywhere at least 15 gallons in my garage at one time, but I rotate that through. My lawn tractor, I use it in my lawn tractor, I'll use it in my truck, I'll use it in my generators, I'll use it throughout the course of the year, so I'm constantly replenishing that gas so it doesn't get old enough. And I treat it, because sometimes the gas will sit there for 8 to 10 months before it gets used. So I do treat it to make sure it doesn't go bad. Now there are generators on the market like ALP generators, ALP generators, that run off in propane. Champion makes some generators that run off in propane. Champion makes dual fuel generators that runs off of either gas or propane. They are nice to have. If you have propane, you can store propane almost indefinitely. Almost indefinitely, because it won't go bad. As long as it's in its tank, it will not go bad. And that is a good idea to store propane instead of gasoline. But you still got to run the generator once a month. So these generators here, good. This is a good start for somebody preparing for the next event. This generator here, I got this generator here because Honda, the Honda name, and anyone that has a Honda generator knows they'll run for years. They'll run for years trouble-free. Plus, this generator is big enough to run the camper. If I ever want to run the air conditioning, which I do very seldomly, but I wanted a good generator, and I bought this before the Predator generators, which is a good brand of generators, really came onto the market. But if you can't have a generator because you live in an apartment, I got another idea for you. So if you live in an apartment and you can't have a gas generator, or don't have a way to store gas for a gas generator, a good idea to have now is a Jackery. Now, I'm a fan of the Jackery products, but there's also other companies that make these, Gold Zero, Blue Eddy, that makes these devices that they have the 120 volt plug-in, they have a 12 volt plug-in, they have your USB plug-ins. They're amazing little units. This is a 300, this is a 160. You can see the difference in the size between the two. The bigger the unit, the more power it has. Now this device right here, the 160, will support items that are up to 100 watts, pulling 100 watts of power, but it'll only support it for a small amount of time. So if you're running a fan off in here that requires 20 watts an hour to run, you'll get 6 hours, 7 hours off in this unit. Why on this one you'll get 13 hours. So that's running off the plug. It's got the household plug on the end, USBs here, and it has a cigarette cord that plugs into it with a cigarette plug. And the nice thing about these, if you're in an apartment and you don't have stored fuel for a lantern or an oil lamp, you can get these lights that plug right into these Jackeries. And these lights right here only take 5 watts to operate. So you'll get endless lighting, really, with this. A 160, if you buy 2 of these and you dedicate this to charging your cell phone and lighting, it'll go for days. It will really go for days. And the nice thing about these Jackeries is that they all come with a display on them where you can see how much power you have left, how much power you're putting in, and how much power you're drawing out. So that is a very nice feature on all the Jackeries have this. Now the bigger the unit, the more power it has. But these units will eventually die, and you need a way to charge them. So there is solar panels that come with these that you can put out. The smallest set of solar panels are about 60 watts. Now, these Jackeries cost about $1 a watt. So a 300 would be about $300. The 160 would be about $160. But the nice thing about it is Jackery has sales throughout the year that you can buy. I bought this one, 160 watt. This is for $93 on sale. This is a 300. I bought this on sale for $229. So you can get deals on these if you're patient and look for them. These are great for people who live in apartments that can't have a gas generator. But these are also great to use in combination with a gas generator. Where Fort Drum is out again. Where you can take these here, charge them during the day, and run your what you need on a generator, gas generator, during the day, and then use these at night and secure your generator at night so it doesn't get stolen. If you use those in combos, you can go for days on gas because you're only using the generator for a short period during the day, and then you're using these at night. We have used this one here. The last storm that we had, we used this one on my router for my internet, for my Wi-Fi. That ran my Wi-Fi for about 6 hours, and we had this set up to the TV, the entertainment system, for about 6 hours. And we watched TV. We had the gas lamps, the oil lamps going in the house, and we watched TV. Had the wood stove going to keep us warm. Everything worked out great. Minor inconvenience. That's what it comes down to. When an event happens, grid down, blizzard, ice storm, whatever it is, civil unrest, whatever the event is, if you can make it an inconvenience in your life, then you will survive it. Now, people have asked me before on my solar panels here for the camper, why didn't I have them mounted to the top of the camper? You know, having them up there is a lot safer. They're not going to get stolen or accidentally ran over like they could get out here. One of the reasons for that is during the winter time, and that's more when we're going to have a blizzard or an ice storm, the batteries don't stay on my camper. I have a spot for those inside my house to keep them warm. I don't want my batteries freezing. I store my solar panels in a case right in the camper. So if there is an ever ice storm again, like I said, the 98 ice storm had no power for 27 days. If we have an ice storm now, I can pull these panels out, set them up at my house on the front deck or my back deck, hook up my batteries, have these charging my batteries by day with my generator, with my Jackeries, and I can go for weeks without power. Running those in combination, the nice thing about it is I don't have to store as much gas as I used to because I have these, and during the winter you don't get a lot of sun, so you might need the generator to help on certain days, especially if it's cloudy. Look at today, not a cloud in the sky in today, but the sun is now getting low on the horizon, and that's when we start losing our sunlight. So using these in the winter time can be difficult, but you have to keep moving them to follow the sun. So if I have an event in my house with my pantry, with my freeze-dried food, I have oil lamps for lighting, I have wood stove for heat, I have my buddy's heater for backup heat, I have my Jackeries, I have my generators, and plus I can take the solar from my camper and put it at my house if I need it. Alright folks, you watched all the way through. Thanks for that. If you liked the video, make sure to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button down below. Continue to follow the adventure. And remember folks, tomorrow is no guarantee for any one of us. So disconnect from that Wi-Fi, connect to this out here. You won't be disappointed.